Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Welcome to the first in a series of podcasts presented by the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. We call our series Honoring Service and Embracing the Future, the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, Arizona, a decade of dedication. I'm your co-host and moderator, Mike Phillips. I'd like to introduce our other co-host, Victoria Rosacci, co-chair of the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation Arizona Committee.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Before introducing our guests, I'd like to thank Karen Nowicki and Phoenix Business RadioX for the opportunity to launch this podcast series. We feel we have some great stories to share, and we thank you for making that possible. Now I'd like to introduce our guests, all of whom are Marine Corps veterans and who remain active in a variety of veteran causes, including the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. Mitch Wetzel is the program manager for small and disadvantaged businesses at Tri-West Healthcare Alliance. Good morning, Mitch.
Good morning, Mike.
Antonio Rosacci is an attorney and one of the principals at the Rosacci Law Firm. He's also married to Victoria. Good morning, Antonio.
Good morning, Mike.
Victoria, help us kick off the conversation today. Tell us a little bit about the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation and its mission.
The Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation is the nation's largest and oldest provider of need-based scholarships to military children. Founded in 1962, the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation provides access to education for the children of Marines and Navy corpsmen attending post-high school, undergraduate, and career technical education programs. Throughout our history, we've awarded more than 47,000 scholarships valued at nearly $145 million. Something special about our foundation is that every qualified student who has applied has received a scholarship.
It's really about connections and about bonds, and the Marine Corps is really a special organization when it comes to that connectedness. Mitch and Antonio, beyond being Marine Corps veterans, you guys are connected in other meaningful ways. Mitch, talk about that relationship. Well, when and where did you meet Antonio?
Well, Antonio and I served in the same Marine Corps Reserve Unit about 20 years ago, or maybe even longer now.
I think it's closer to about 30.
But closer to 30 years. So we served together in the same Reserve Unit, Marine Corps Reserve Unit. And Reserve Units have a special bond with the community that once we get out of that unit or retire or our enlistments up, we stay in the community and we stay connected through our Marine network.
And Antonio, from your perspective, what's that bond like? What does it mean for you?
For me personally, it's the benefit of both being Marines and then also being able to continue to work with a lot of the Marines that we served with that other Marines, especially those on active duty, don't have. But it's wonderful to be able to continue to support the community as Marines and to support the Marine Corps community.
And that brings us back to the foundation. Mitch, from your perspective, why is it important that the children of Marines and Navy corpsmen get this kind of support in their lives?
Well, it could mean the difference between going to school next semester or not. It's a benefit that's out there for our children of Marines and Navy corpsmen. And, college is expensive and trade schools are expensive. And it could be the difference between taking one more class or not and finishing your coursework on time. And it's a way of, continuing that, our brotherhood and sisterhood of the Marine Corps. When I retired from the Marine Corps 7 years ago now, it's a way for me to continue to serve my fellow Marines out of uniform and service with other organizations.
Yeah, there's an old saying, you can leave the Marine Corps, but the Marine Corps never really leaves you. Antonio, you've been involved in a lot of other veteran activities too. Why is that important to you? How did you get involved with some of those organizations? And again, what do you get from it today?
I think as Marines, I call it brain damage, but we have that certain element where we're different than everybody else. And these organizations are very helpful to allow us to kind of still be able to participate as Marines and feel like we're still Marines. As well as, and it was more important years ago, but assisting the young Marines and those that are getting out of active duty in the transition. Because we're part of the community here, but yet still are Marines, we were very much in sync with allowing them to understand how their identity as Marines wasn't something that they had to put in a box or bury, but rather was an advantage, and then understand and create that support network that they could base it upon and be able to transition into the community and success, and to be participants that were very vital to our community.
Yeah, you'd mentioned earlier that kind of challenge of you leave an organization like the Marine Corps, and a lot of folks have a hard time adapting back to civilian life, and you've seen that in the counseling that you've done. What are some of the things you tell a Marine or a veteran that's transitioning from active duty to the civilian community?
It actually falls into, there's two parts of it. The first one is, by default, they listen to a lot of the more senior Marines that maybe have retired or haven't been in the civilian world and successful in civilian world, that highlight specifically their Marine Corps experience, but they do it and they articulate it in such a way that civilians don't understand. One of the benefits that we have from working as Marines in the civilian community is that we can actually have them understand how to phrase the fact that they were a squad leader and served in Fallujah, that they actually were a creative problem solver in a dynamic and intense environment, and be able to have civilians that think that every Marine is, pulling triggers, including the cooks, when it's not necessarily that aspect of it, and to understand what Marines can bring to the table.
And Victoria, you're active in a lot of different veteran organizations also, and clearly the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation is a family affair for you, being married to Antonio. How the Marine bonds affected you? From your perspective, what's different about them? What's important about them?
Well, we have many friends and who have become our family through the Marine Corps community. Antonio and I have been together almost 23 years, and he was still in the Marine Corps when we met. We have adopted, if you would, several families into our family, and many of them serve with us on the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. They've served with us in the projects that we've picked up. We do a lot of Toys for Tots. We work with veterans for appeals at the veterans level. The VA, Antonio does a lot of legal work for them. I've participated when troops were being deployed, and I did a lot of individual estate planning. I did powers of attorney. So we did a lot of work here back at home when troops were deploying or they're leaving their families. Not just for Marines, of course, but for all services. My dad was in the Army. He served in Korea. I had a stepdad in the Air Force. And of course, I married the best, the Marine. So he thinks. And so we raise our daughters also. We have 2 daughters, and we raise them as well to participate in community service, giving back, being a part of this community, which is awesome because the children are bonded as well. So they find other children of Marines, and they have kind of an instant bond that brings them closer and then serves the mission. For example, as well, we're going to be participating in the Veterans Day Parade up in Prescott, Arizona this Wednesday. This Wednesday is a special day to support our veterans, and it's also our daughter's 13th birthday. So spending that, walking in a parade and helping us share the word about Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation and giving children an opportunity to attend university, community college, or trade school is just something that she believes in as well. We instill education and the pillars of service in our family.
That's terrific. And that is kind of building on that Marine Corps family. Mitch, in that vein, there are a lot of missions for the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, Arizona Committee. One of them is expanding the brand and the network. Talk a little bit about your work focused on reaching out to individuals and businesses.
Yeah, and to touch about the Marine Corps family too, we were talking about the family and where our family members have served. Both of my sons are currently serving in the Marine Corps, and my brother served with Antonio, I think, at the time in the same reserve unit too. So it's been more than just family. It has been family, the Marine Corps. But your question about expanding the brand, Mike, it's really along 2 channels of communication. We got to get the word out on that the scholarships are available to children of Marines. So we have a subcommittee that focuses on that, student awareness of what is out there and when to apply for the scholarships. And the other channel, which is where I try to fit in, is there's fundraising. You make all scholarships available and make sure that students are getting them, but we got to make sure that there's money there for the scholarship. So my network, being being a reservist and being a civilian employed in the Valley, I've reached out to my network through the Veterans Heritage Project, which I'm a board member of, which gets students together with veterans. So we find a network there of they interview the veterans and find out their stories of service. So I work in that network there to find out students that would be possible to get scholarships. Then I'm also on the employer support for the Guard and Reserve as the employer outreach director, so I can reach out to my network of corporate sponsors that would be available to get funding for our programs. And social networking LinkedIn has been the biggest boon to us. We're really heavily using LinkedIn and other social network areas.
That's very impressive. It's like a force multiplier with the connections that you built in the community and able to reach out at various levels. Antonio, you got kind of a special project going on with the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. It's the license plate program. What exactly is that, and how does that assist the foundation?
Well, it's a wonderful program. Lots of people want to support a veteran charity, but they don't know how. And this is a way that anyone, it's not just a veteran plate, but anyone that wants to support the children of veterans, Navy Corpsmen that serve with Marines, as well as Marine Corps children, by simply buying a Marine Corps license plate. It's open up for every individual. Businesses can apply for it as well. All they need to do is to go to servicearizona.com, click on the military veteran plate, and then you'll see the Marine Corps license plate right there for the Scholarship Foundation.
That's really cool. And it's we found that a lot of the veterans, they kind of tell their military story through those plates with acronyms and stuff. You'd mentioned, do you have a little game with your family when you're driving down the road? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's mostly my wife and my two girls will try to understand what it is. And sometimes it's MOSs. It could be their unit in the Marines. It could be where they served. It's just it's funny because you can detail it. Their rank when they were in the Marine Corps. I mean, across the board, it's wonderful. It's a way of every Marine almost connecting again based on the license plates.
Right. Yeah, great stuff. Victoria, we got a big event coming up, knock on wood, in May. It's a big deal for the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. Talk about the dinner and the significance of it in 2021.
So we are having our 10-year Decade of Dedication. It is set to be a ball. It was moved from May of 2020 to May 15th, 2021 at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge. And it's a celebration of the Arizona Committee's 10 years functioning here in Arizona, promoting the scholarship, raising awareness, and we hit a milestone this year of 101 scholarships to children of Marines, Navy Corpsmen in Arizona. So we love being competitive with the rest of the nation. And since we are a charity dating back to 1962, there's a lot of East Coast longevity, time, and scholarships awarded. So Arizona wants to catch up. So our goal this year is at least 150 awarded scholarships for the children. Our open enrollment starts January 1st to March 1st, 2021 for universities or community college applications. However, we are promoting trade schools big time in this environment because we know how important they are, and there is no time to apply for that set. So if a child wants to apply for the scholarship for trade school, that is open anytime because those are rolling programs and they start, sometimes quarterly, sometimes 6 weeks. And so we're really excited to bring Arizona that presence of 10 years local. And again, that's why we're going to be up in Prescott. We have a presence down in Tucson. We want to be up in Flagstaff. We are Arizona. We are not just here in Phoenix. Our event's here because we have a large venue, and we hope and pray we can have our event safely and celebrate the students. At that event, our at the beginning time, we bring in the students, and it's called our student reception, and we honor them and we showcase them and how proud they are, but how proud we are that we've supported them into college. During our event, we highlight the students in what schools they're attending. There's a lot of Arizona pride. We also bring in our ASU U of A rivalry. Can't stop that. But also, last year I went through the awardees, and NAU had a lot of students that we put into school through scholarship. It was amazing, and I think sometimes we have to bring that Northern Arizona back because we are awarding scholarships to many students attending up there as well. So it's a wonderful event. We have generals that fly in from all over. We have officials. We have Marines, uniformed Marines that come in from the base. We have families. We bring in the families of the students, and they sit with our donors, with our supporters, with our committee. And, speaking of the committee, we've been on this committee for about 8 years, Antonio and I, and we have a really amazing committee called the Scarlet and Gold Committee. We're at least 26 strong this year of individuals who are giving back. And we have, as Mitch was talking about, different subcommittees people can serve on, and each one functions and does a little bit of support for the organization and for our Arizona committee. And I'm proud to be a co-chair this year and bringing everyone together, supporting our mission, and making sure that hopefully we get up to at least 150 awarded scholarships this year or more. We would love more. And really bring awareness. So it's amazing to be here today to talk about who we are, what we do, and get the word out, because it's sad if a student wasn't aware that there's available funds for them, and they could have used that, like Mitch was saying, to stay in school, to do another semester, to get the books that they needed and whatnot, and basically get a bridge up through our community.
And it really is all about the students and that the impact that we make, the foundation makes with the students and their education. And those stories are told at the dinner. I think that's another really cool thing about the dinners is you get to meet those students, you get to hear their stories, you get to see the emotion in that room that we're really making a difference. And that's one of the messages. And we want to tell those stories too. I think down the road in our podcast series, we'll invite the students in and the parents in and have them talk about that experience, how this is a life-changing event. But in that realm, there's a lot of employers in the Valley that employ Marines or have known Marines or had Marines in their family. And the foundation's a way of paying that the debt for their service forward. And Mitch, you mentioned you have 2 sons in the Marine Corps. Talk about what it's like to be in that dinner hall with your sons there and celebrating the Marine Corps. I would imagine it's pretty special for you.
It's I just got a little goosebumps when you said that, Mike. If you haven't been able to go to the Marine Corps Ball for the last couple of years, it's a good way to see Marines in uniform in their dress blues. And my sons have both attended in their dress blues, and they've escorted guests. And it's if you haven't seen a Marine in dress blues in a while, it's a good opportunity to go out there and be in a black tie suit event and celebrate being a Marine. And if you haven't done it in a while, it's a good way to go out and do it and celebrate. And and I think we're supposed to have the Marine Corps band is supposed to be there too, possibly. So if you hadn't heard the Marine Corps band in a while, it's a good opportunity to do that. And direct people to our website, Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation.
Yep. MCSF.org is our website through our national. Our event is listed on that particular website for Arizona. And one thing that's interesting is that we keep we're talking about getting our word out, getting the students involved, but it is the best to listen to their stories. We have a over 90% success rate for the students entering college and graduating. That is well above the national average. So these children are disciplined, they're eager, and they want to continue and finish their education. So the investments being made by everybody, whether it's buying a license plate, attending the event, our gala, making a contribution, our corporate donors, the return on the investment is paid back, tenfold. When you see the results and you see them completing their education and the jobs that they're picking up, and then they come back and they'll tell their story. And it's just awesome. It's one of those things that, we all know how important education is, but to see it live, to meet the students and their families is really, really, it's just heartwarming. And we love, attending, whether we've been on the committee, all of us, a really long time together. And so again, that's another family thing. We find that our committee members are dedicated and we stay together. And we add more committee members. We're always, happy to take on more individuals who want to serve and give back. And we find a place for them, whether they're on the student outreach, the license plate committee, the gala committee, or the fundraising committee. We find a place for anybody who wants to serve the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation Arizona, because we know that these are the most important times. And when we talk about students, they don't have to be, 18 years old. If you're a child of a Marine, Navy corpsman, and we also give scholarships to children of chaplain who served with Marines. So it's one of those things, where we're just pulling together and we're trying to make a difference and make our impact here in the state of Arizona and get the word out. That's our biggest challenge, is just getting into those schools, getting into the rest of the community. And, it's funny with scholarships, you don't pay it back, and just getting that word out that we're giving. We don't want anything. We want to give. So thank you so much, Karen and Business RadioX, for this, because we really are excited to get those applications up starting in January.
Yeah, you mentioned that's a pretty healthy goal to increase scholarships from around 100 to about 150, and then talked about building the presence in other part of the states. What are some of the other long-term goals do you have for the foundation, or kind of achievable goals in the near future that you have for the foundation?
Well, we really would love to have more events happening in other parts of the state so that the participants can basically have that one-on-one interaction. So we are doing the parade up in Prescott in 2 days from now for Veterans Day. We would love to have some reach out in the other cities. So Tucson, we would love to have more. We've had events in Tucson a few years ago, but we would love to bring that back. Again, Flagstaff, Payson, all of the outlying cities, Yuma. We have an air base in Yuma, and we would love to have an event out in Yuma. We do have a golf tournament that's happening in Wickenburg that is on November 20th. And we're trying to make that an annual event out in Wickenburg. And basically branching out to the four corners of the state is really the goal. Spread the word and really get into the high schools as well. We would love to get some more help getting into the high schools and identifying those children of Marines and Navy corpsmen. That's one of the big goals for our student outreach committee, is finding those students in the high schools. And we know there's more students out there, and really our goals are increasing our numbers, obviously increasing fundraising efforts so we can continue to support our kids. Right now, the average scholarship is between $3,000 and $3,500 and it has to be applied for every year. But it's a really decent amount of money to get in there and get that boost into your education. So it's worth it to fill out that application, which does not take a lot of time. It's a very simplistic application online. And again, if the student qualifies through the application process, they will be awarded. They will not be declined.
And when we talk about getting into the high schools, it's not about, we're not recruiting for the Marine Corps. We're trying to spread the word that the children of Marines are eligible for this financial assistance. And sometimes that's a little bit of a disconnect. People hear you want to come into the high schools and talk about the Marine Corps. It's not a recruiting trip. It's just an awareness trip to build awareness of the scholarships and let the children know that they're eligible for that assistance.
It's about education, Mike. I mean, it's about the future, and it's about providing opportunity. As Marines, one of the fundamentals that we live by is taking care of our own. And that's the beauty of the foundation for me personally, is that what I miss the most about no longer being a Marine is leading Marines. And part of that, I mean, Mitch, retired gunner, I was a staff sergeant when I left the Corps, was I miss being able to take care of my Marines and see the smile on their face. And you get that sense when it's about mission accomplishment, but troop welfare to me was equal to it. And this allows us to continue to take care of those Marines and be leaders in our community and to help them to reach back to give their kids a future and opportunities of success.
That's a great point. And there's a lot of Marines, as we go out, there's a lot of Marines that aren't aware of this benefit. And so that's another one of our challenges, is to build that statewide presence, build statewide awareness, and let every Marine know their children are entitled, if they're qualified, they're eligible for this assistance. Great. Well, thank you so much, Mitch and Antonio and Victoria, for your time today. Karen, for allowing us this forum. We look forward to talking about issues in the future, bringing in some of those students, bringing in some of the Marines that have benefited from the foundation. And I know we've got some great stories to tell, and we look forward to doing so in the future. I want to just end by saying, Semper Fi, and happy birthday, Marines.
Happy birthday.
Hoorah.
Thank you.